Batman's life is teetering on the brink of absolute annihilation, all because of Bane. But why and how? Let's all find out together, shall we, as we hop into the pages of Batman issue number 72. Alrighty then, so as this issue opens up, we're actually working backwards in time to the big mansion fight Batman had with Bane in the previous issue, only to have everyone around tell Batman that this wasn't a real fight and he only imagined it, but it definitely happened because we're seeing it right now here again. Now, a lot was made about this issue before its ultimate release that this would be the big one, the one that would tie together all the hanging plot threads, that would reveal the secrets and have everything make sense. How does it actually do? Well, about that. If you've listened to the Comic Multiverse podcast that I do with my friend Matt, you'll know that a little on-running joke we have whenever something doesn't make sense in this series is, oh, Bane was behind it, Bane was behind it all. We said this half-jokingly. Little did I know this entire story once I dug on into it is literally just that, the narrator explaining in great detail how Bane was literally behind everything bad that's happened to Batman since the first issue. So yeah, Batman wasn't stupid, Batman wasn't being a bad detective, he was well aware that Bane was pulling the strings, he just didn't say anything about it until right now. Even the stuff that Bane couldn't possibly have been behind, he was actually behind. Remember that plane crash from the very first issue? Oh, you thought it was the Cult of the Cobra, then you thought it was Dr. Hugo Strange, but no, Bane actually told Strange to do it. Why? Because he wanted Batman to examine his own mortality, of course, even though Batman is literally close to death almost every minute of every day, and I don't know why that would be special. Furthermore, he didn't sound too reflective in that moment. In fact, he just asked, is this a good death, which is itself an out-of-context Frank Miller quote, so King didn't even write that. Also, not to bury the lead too much here, eventually we find out at the end of this issue it's not even Batman doing the narration at this time, it's his father, Thomas Wayne the Flashpoint Batman, who was not around at the time of the plane incident, yet he talks about it like he was. Alright, so you had the plane stuff, which Bane now takes credit for, then you got the stuff with Psycho Pirate, Gotham, and Gotham Girl, which we now actually know that Bane was behind because he actually created Gotham and Gotham Girl. Or at the very least, he helped them pick out their costumes because that's a retcon from the price that doesn't actually get mentioned here because Tom King didn't actually mention that story, even though it happened here in this book. Bane then also tried to make himself a target for Batman, so he would have to recruit a group of criminals to try and infiltrate Santa Prisca, which Bane was also actually masterminding from the inside because the ventriloquist was working for him, and apparently the ventriloquist can do a lot more than just throw his voice now. According to Tom King, he can actually manipulate people. I'm not sure if he means that literally or figuratively, it all seems very vague. The important thing though is that Bane actively tried to put Batman and Catwoman together, knowing that they would eventually fall in love, and by falling in love, that would just be part one of the most complex, layered supervillain plan of all time to destroy Batman. You see, unlike all the other villains who try and destroy Batman by hurting him, which will never work because Batman is hurt all the time, you know, he's just so messed up, you know, Bane would destroy him by giving him something good, by giving him the feeling of love and then snatching it away from him. But how would Bane go about getting Batman and Catwoman to call off their wedding? Well, that started with getting the Riddler to hack Skeets. Oh yeah, did I mention every villain in Gotham is working for Bane? Because they are. Nigma hacked Skeets because that's a thing he can totally do now, to take Booster Gold on a crazy adventure to an alternate Gotham where Bruce Wayne never became Batman and was content and happy. Only that's not really what happened, because if you remember that story, that Bruce Wayne was so off-kilter he ended up torturing Booster Gold in his basement for a long time. But we're not done yet. Then Bane got the Joker, who is also working for Bane and who also just so happens to be an old friend of Catwoman, which is literally a thing that only Tom King has ever mentioned before, to say to Catwoman that Batman can never be married and never be happy, and Selina of course believed the Joker because they were such good old friends that he would never lie to her. Then the final nail in the coffin was Holly Robinson, Catwoman's best friend, who apparently has also always been working for Bane since the very beginning, to cast the last shadow of doubt in Selina's heart by reiterating what the Joker said, in doing so making Catwoman abandon Bruce at the altar. It was such a simple plan. This plan, I should also remind you, was overseen and consented upon by Thomas Wayne, Batman's multiversal father, who they have not explained how he managed to survive the destruction of the Flashpoint universe, but he's here too, and he's narrating the story. And as the comic winds down, down, he basically just verbally eviscerates his own son, even calls him a joke at one point. And so there you have it, everyone. That was Batman issue number 72, and I think we can all agree we're through the looking glass on this now, people. You got the Saucer Man under the supervision of the reverse vampires, controlled by Bane, all to eliminate the meal of dinner and making Batman miserable. Oh, no wait, I'm sorry, that's not this comic, that's a Milhouse bit from The Simpsons, but you could see how I would be confused, right? In all seriousness though, I guess it's admirable for Tom King this late in the game to actively try and make sense of all the nonsensical things that have happened in 70 plus issues of this story, but I really do think it's much too late. Especially now that we know he's off the book and that he's basically just rushing to the finish line now so he can go off to Hollywood and make movies. I guess I'm happy we finally have an answer now as to what's going on in this book. It's just that answer is deeply unsatisfactory. Bane was behind it all. I mean, A, we pretty much already guessed that. B, that makes Batman seem incredibly incompetent that he wasn't able to figure out what we the reader already know. And C, even in the realm of crazy, colorful, costumed villain plans, you have to admit that this one is needlessly complex. Like, seriously, if one thing had gone wrong here, then the whole house of cards would have fallen apart. But then again, I guess Bane is just that good. After all, Bane is behind everything. And here's the crazy part, this basic story outline here could very well have worked if it was, oh, I don't know, maybe a 12-issue maxi series instead of a 70-plus series. But once again, were it not for Janin's great art, which sadly gets covered by way too much text this issue, I was ultimately disappointed. I give this a 5 out of 10.
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Caped Joel again, and I want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out some of these other videos I have available from the channel. Then you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Caped Joel, so you're always up to speed on what I'm doing next. And hey, if you're feeling in a supportive mood, why not check out my Patreon link down in the description. Patrons get exclusive access to videos and content before anyone else, and you can do so for as little as $1 a month. I would really appreciate it. And with that, I will be back again next time with more great comic content that smacks of greatness. Bye-bye.